Well, hello, folks. There's a game people like to play called What's Wrong with the World? Now, this game rests on two concepts. The first is that if there was a solution, that there'd be some improvement. But the problem of the world isn't a lack of solutions, that's for certain. Solutions are suppressed. The second concept about this game is that it implies that the world is inherently bad, or that everything is something of a nightmare. And the issue I have with that is it starts to become a central focus where every single room you walk into, you're thinking, this is terrible and that's terrible, and this could be better. And that starts to be an identity for you. An identity of critique, but not the type of thought and critique that leads to useful action. It's the type of mindset which keeps you hating everything, but thinking you can't do anything, and that you don't do anything, so you don't have the big solution. So you play the game of what's gonna fix the world. And while you're playing this little game of thinking about large, grandiose solutions, you're blindsided by the practical problems of life which are on your doorstep right now. You're thinking about a million things while you're not doing what's accessible to you. Now, that's talking about real people who think about these things. But there's people out here who aren't playing the game. They think that they have the solution and they're implementing it. They see that the world's terrible. And their vision is the one which is being pushed and manifested. They don't see the world like you see the world. They're not playing a game of supposing. I'm talking about people who are so detached from the spirit of living that they see the world and life itself as a problem. Lifeless entities, which want to dig into every aspect of your life. Because anything good in your life, anything that speaks of spirit, is a problem. So it becomes less of an issue of simply policies or politics. These forces start digging into your ribs at night. If there's something good in your relationship, if there's anything traditional, they'll publish articles like they have in the American Association of Psychologists recently, that masculinity itself is a toxic mental illness. These are people who want to shift reality. Take anything which you hold of value, which you rely on as a solid entity inside of you, and turn it to sawdust. To the point where your reality is being affected so much that if you think you have an influence that you can have on a child through a certain role, be it a father or a mother, that is part of the problem, and their eyes. These are the forces which we are dealing with. And they pervade our mentalities and attempt to change the public mind. For example, there's the idea of government. And people nowadays are getting a little pissed off and fed up about how inefficient it seems to be and corrupt. Now, government wasn't always that way. There was a time when policy was dictated by some sense and good people looking out for their countrymen. Now, I'm not saying that democracy is the ideal type of government. For me, it isn't. But it didn't do too bad for a long time. But it's been infiltrated. And there's foreign interests which are running your country. If your country is anything like my country, where the people are not the concern lies somewhere else. Now we have these attitudes, these memes coming up inside society about anarchy. But if you've lived in any real life situations, anarchy is not something you look well on. It's cool if you're living in a little development or something, or if you don't get out of the city much. But if you get in any type of real life situation, or a natural situation, or even just being out in the woods for a while, or trying to build something, you realize that hierarchy comes up. Well, let me put it this way. There's this shutdown, and so be it. Things are inefficient. I'm not denying that. But if there was to be a complete cessation of government, what would happen is that people who have a certain spirit of cooperation, of industrialness, of inventiveness, of individual efforts, but pooling together on a collective. These people would start to form groups again. And you'd have territories, and you'd have customs. And you'd have forms of government take shape. And they might not be in the same form that the old governments were in. I wouldn't be too surprised if they weren't similar. Government, per se, is an outcropping of the Western mind. There's different types of government which have been in different places. If you look at the first rulers being limited, you find that in Hungary, where peasants are being protected and given certain rights against their king. So, this appeal to anarchy, you have to understand the forces going on behind it. This idea that anarchy would be freedom, this idea that government is always terrible, that hierarchy isn't a thing. You see, these things are how the world functions. and getting rid of them as part of the improvement going on in the world. But it's really an attack on Western people. Because we would regroup, because we have it in our soul. We have it in our spirit. We have it in our genetics to build, to work together, to come up with engines and systems. And that's not something found in everyone. Well, I see it as a progression. Or Maine is being removed from that spirit, the spirit of the pioneer. Where these people who lack anything in their chests, these faceless entities which have possessed the puppets of government, these forces which creep into your relationships, your dreams, they see the very nature of Western man as a great threat. Because what's inside of us is more valuable than any resource on earth. There is no resource on earth, actually, without the intelligence and the creativity to use it. And intelligence and creativity. Natural, organic intelligence. This is what these people lack. Which is why they have to suck it from us. Suck our energy. And put us into these ineffective systems. And then get us to hate the systems. So that they lower, get us dependent on it. So that as the system lowers, our standard of life lowers. It's not just that farming has been industrialized, or things like smithing, or even animal agriculture. It's that our very soul has been industrialized. And I see that they are doing this to the Western soul. For I think the reason that it is the most precious.